from your engagement host, John Chen. By the way, if you're watching here on a live stream, make sure and hit the subscribe, get the reminder, click share, and give us a comment. We are watching for these. Let's bring in my good friend and host, Roger Haskett. Roger Haskett, Happy New Year. How are you doing?
Oh, Happy New Year, John. I'm great. How are you doing?
I had a fantastic trip with my family to San Francisco. I saw so many friends, some family. You know, it was really important actually this year. I stayed downtown and I got to see my dad probably 5 times as much as I do in any other regular year. And we celebrate this one thing, Roger, called everybody's birthday dinner. So we all go to San Francisco. We all celebrate all of our birthdays on one amazing day. And this year it was at a 2 Michelin star restaurant. How about you, Roger?
Whoa, last year you went to a 1 Michelin star restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. Was that correct?
No, last year we went to a 3 Michelin star.
It was the other way. So, and Michelin is only 4 stars. Is that right?
Well, it's 3 stars is the best, and there's a fourth star that's a green star, which I didn't know. Like you can earn a fourth Michelin star that's a green star for how you your practice of sustainability in terms of food.
Oh, a green star. Got it. Got it. Got it. So, I don't know if I've ever eaten at a Michelin restaurant, which is probably just as well. I am my wife enjoys good food. I just eat, to make sure I'm alive, how was it though? How was it?
It was amazing, although it was kind of funny. We were being foodies in a moment going, it's not as good as our other 3 star restaurant, but it was truly amazing. Italian, we're talking truffles, handmade pasta, just amazing stuff. And most importantly, it's just having us all together. We don't normally get to see each other all through, all of my brothers and sisters. I'm the last of 5 kids, of course, Roger. I'm the play on the freeway kid. And so
I'm
it's
the
so
last
great
of
to get.
4. I'm the last.
I didn't know that. We should have known.
We were playing on the freeway together.
Yeah, we were playing soccer. We were playing soccer, or whatever, on the freeway.
We're playing Dodge Car.
Frogger.
Dodge Car, known as Frogger.
Well, speaking of which, right, we're here. Happy 2024 to everybody who's listening here. And the amazing part is that we like to say that January is the most important month of the year, and because it dictates how the rest of your year is going to go. So everyone's making resolutions, they're cleaning out their stuff, and I'm just going to share like one thing that I'm doing. One thing I have this year, this is one of my themes, is tech and technique. Have you ever heard of this, Roger?
No, tell me about it. Tell me about tech and technique.
So tech and technique is that last year, over the last 2 years, I discovered that one, that you can use an amazing amount of technology, right, to wow people and engage them, right? The chat, the polls, all these other, things that are doing. And there's one way, but there's the other part that people are really burned out by tech, right? We advanced 7 years in 1 year in the first year of the pandemic in information technology. So I also found a way to make a virtual meeting more engaging using absolutely no additional tech besides just getting a camera in this piece. And so I had really honed these 2 pieces. I don't know why, though. I didn't think about it until the end of last year and saying all my new programs in 2024 will actually use both of these techniques at the same time. So you're going to see things like, we're just talking about like this here, like here on my desk, right? I can do this message. The first 5 minutes of your meetings are most important. So like, this is a tech thing, but what I'm just doing here with Roger is a technique thing where we're just talking and trying and doing our best to engage each of you who are listening. So that's my, one of my things that I'm doing in the first month here of the year. What's up with you?
Just to talk about that for a second. I found that to be a real issue in my brain as well, that often, and talking with clients and other people as well, that this is a real issue. And for people who are thinking about engagement, this is an area to focus on, because there's, I think, a lot of reward for little effort. And that is taking the tried and true engagement methods that work pre-pandemic, that work pre-technology, and just make sure you're still using them when you're doing technology. And part of what we're going to be talking about, like the first 5 minutes of a meeting is the most important. The first month of a year is most important. That these are like, there's techniques that we've had that, for millennia that sort of were thrown out the window when virtual came in. Like everyone's like, we just gotta put on it. You got to get on the camera. And now it's so wonderful that they're all coming back in, and we're like merging the two, and that they're all becoming more, whether we want to or not, we're going to have to be more engaging on virtual and hybrid. Yeah. So, and you asked what we're doing 2024. We're building on what we did for 2023, which was a big year for growing our accounts. So we started to identify, our major players and started to work with them in sort of an engagement strategy to pull them in. And it's been working really well that we've moved people from one-offs into multiple engagements in the year and had them be like, this is better than it. Not only have you solved a lot of problems, because now I don't have to plan nearly as much, you guys help me, and not only do we get great responses to it all, but it's fun. Like, it's super fun.
Well, that's really the key, right? I just told somebody else that, which is if it's not fun, you're probably not doing it right.
Yeah.
Do the things that you really, especially us who are entrepreneurs, we get a choice. We should do the things that really bring joy. Because that's the things that we're really going to love and really do better than anybody else, because it's the thing we study, we pay attention to, it's what we're looking at all the time.
Yeah.
And that brought up the other technique that we came up here. I just wrote an email about it, and it says that again, this part here, the first 5 minutes, right, of your meeting are the most important. And everyone, of course, when I ask this why, just saying it sets the whole tone. And so this is one of the things I gave as a New Year resolution to other people. It's like, if you're having, and now this is the other part too. It's not just virtual meetings. It's all meetings, Roger. Right?
Oh, yeah.
After, returning back in person and all these other things, there are still like really challenging in-person meetings, and that you could transform them if you just really looked at this first 5 minutes. So one of the things that we do is just something that's easy. Welcoming. Make those first 5 minutes welcoming. So especially if it's a meeting where new people are here, have greeters or have people come in. If it's a virtual meeting, I log in early. I'm the first person to say, hey, Roger, what's up? Right? And so it sounds like a small thing, but these are all the things that give signals to people that this meeting is going to be about engaging in my involvement, not a meeting for me to tune out and look at my phone. What about you, Roger?
Yeah, I totally agree with all that. I believe in, I believe there's sort of rules to engagement, things that you can do that will bring engagement into the room. And so one of them is like active participation. The fact that you are expecting virtual or live that people are actively participating suddenly changes everything in the meeting. And it also then ties into the tone, what you're talking about, setting the tone for the meeting. And I love the fact that I get comments back, like, testimonials back, that people say, I sat down in your meeting in the first minute. I knew this was going to be a totally different meeting. Yeah, right. And in that first minute, so what have you done in that first minute to make people sit up and say something different is happening here? And if you can do that, and so some of the rules that I follow are things like the more fun you have, the more fun they have. Right? Like, it's just as simple as, if I'm having the best time, that translates. So one of the things that I do right at the beginning, if it's virtual, I do this, is I teach people how to rename themselves. And this is a good thing, just a skill for people to have anyway. So I tell them, like, hover over your image and click on the 3 dots that are at the top right corner, pick rename in the drop-down menu. And then what I say is put your first name and your favorite animal. And so what that allows me to do as the host throughout the whole event is that I'm able to have fun by going, hey, Jeff Fox over there. Oh, and Samantha Whale over there. And Roger Wolverine. Who picks Wolverine? And so right from the beginning, there's these little clues that for the audience, they're going to be involved, and they need to they need to participate. The more they participate, the more they get out of whatever's happening.
Well, I chose John Dolphin, right?
Nice.
Actually, there's a very funny story, because I actually read an article about a very famous skateboarder who had a ferret as his favorite animal, and I tried to use a ferret in a interview that I was being given, and it was a terrible answer. So I'm like, I got to get a better animal than a ferret. And so I thought like a dolphin, right? A dolphin is a smart animal. It's a fast animal. It's a playful animal. I said,
Everyone
oh,
loves
that's
dolphins.
like me, right? So
Everyone loves dolphins.
yeah, everyone loves. Oh yeah, Flipper. All right. What's your favorite animal though? Then so you're Roger who?
I usually pick Wolverine because that used to be my favorite when I was a teenager. I probably would pick something different now, but Wolverine causes all sorts of discussion. So I often keep it for that because Wolverines are vicious and they're like brutal and relentless. Those were qualities I loved as a teenager.
Well, I'm going to encourage you to take this one, Roger. This is like the volleyball setup. Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, there we go. It's true. That's just waiting out there. That's one of my, alter egos. I get asked about Roger Rabbit all the time. That's a good one, John. So the other thing as well is this. So another thing as well is as host, this is one of the things that you want to set up right at the beginning of your meetings, is that you want people to understand that you're there for them, and that no one works when they're been sitting for so long. So as part of what I do, whenever I take over a meeting, I get people to stand up and move around. Like, I have a stand-up camera over here. So I use that and I get people to, as John, I get people up and doing stuff. And often I get people to dance or to move or to do different things. Look at your background. I love it. So to me, that's like, these are things that you can be easily doing to have fun, to create an environment of active participation, to create an environment where you are there for the audience and you're concerned about their well-being. All these things are important to have people relax into the meeting.
Well, I know we're positive people, Roger, but I know that some people who listen to us too love train wrecks. So I just kind of actually, I added a list here: fake active participation. Right, there's a couple killers. Like you can kill all this within the 5 minutes too. By the way, too, you can spend months building it up, right, and kill it in the first 5 minutes of your meeting. One of them is fake participation. So if I ask, Roger, what's your favorite animal? Oh, let's go on, right? If I keep talking through it and I don't actually let you answer it,
Mhm.
it's so what I happens to me on my side is that I go, I'm actually actively thinking about the answer.
Yeah,
Oh, you just signaled to me you don't really care. Now I'm going to stop paying attention to you. I will not decide to answer your question because you don't want the answer.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And so there's some easy parts that you can really kill it. I think the other one here too, penalize the early people. Instead of rewarding the early people, people penalize the early people by saying, let's just wait a minute for the other
Oh,
people to log in. Why? Do something valuable.
yeah.
Just
So John, this is part of your starting early. So especially
Mm.
with virtual, but I also do this in live. Like I just walk the room. Like I'll like work the door if it's live. People come in, I talk to
Yes.
them, and I
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the room is different. And in virtual, you just talk to people. Like people, like you're like, okay, so we're not doing animals yet. So you're just like, oh, so where are you guys from? What? And I ask like, not even where are you from? What room are you in? That gets all sorts of really cool discussions. People will be like, I'm in my living room, I'm in a conference room, I'm in the bathroom. And you're like, okay, well, you need to let us know that. And all of a sudden, people are laughing, they're leaning in, they're writing stuff down. And the opposite of fake participation happens. What happens is real engagement happens.
Yeah, and I think that's the other key here too. And this is great for going back to, the January piece, right? I say engage in those first 5 minutes, truly engage, do something, anything, whether it's a chat or it's a poll or you're just talking to people. I tell people all the time, oh, you can unmute, Roger. Why don't you just unmute and say hi? You're like, we haven't started yet. And I
Yeah.
think your January is the same way. Like if you do something in January to set off your year, let's pretend those who have exercise goals or something else, start walking, right? Start doing something. Uh, you know, yeah, I think it's just if you can start doing something inside of that part, I think you can start to build the momentum to the changes that you want. So whatever that might be.
Yeah, I think that so the first 5 minutes of a meeting are the most important, and the first 5 minutes of the first month of a year are important. And that's true. but it's also true the last 5 minutes of a meeting are the most important, and also the middle 5 minutes of a certain meeting are important as well, because it depends on how you're using those times. And if you start the year with this is why people start with resolutions. Like, even though most people don't hold them, you start with the bang, and the bang leads to further action. You start with no bang, and no further action happens, like guaranteed. But the bang allows further action. So, if you start this year with active participation in your business, active participation in your family, active participation with your friends, if you start with the more fun you have, the more fun they have, and that's how you start to organize your life. You start to think about the first 5 minutes that you spend with someone being the most important. Suddenly, those first 5 minutes become that important, and they start to transform the rest of your relationship. So John and I get brought in all the time. I hear this all the time. John does as well. I often tell people to bring me in at the very beginning of as an opening keynote, because what I will do will reverberate, will have repercussions and consequences for the rest of the event. And so it's the same idea. You start with 5 minutes and you put the energy there. You start with the first month, and you get consequences of goodness coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what I love too is starting off the year right. Is that I had a client and I knew that I was supposed to be there January 16th, but they hadn't signed their contract yet. So like December 30th, I sent it back an email going, "Oh, by the way, did you want to lock this in?" And she actually signed it on December 31st, right, the day before New Year's, to come in and be a virtual MC for their hybrid conference. Those, the other parts to do is like in the prosperity is on the list this year. Is that all of you who are in business, right? Do those extra steps and focus on those steps that will create the success that you're looking for in 2024. Roger, got any closing statements for us this year?
Yeah, I do. This is one of our Meme Mondays that really took off this in December. Oh, my big head. Don't forget that while you're busy doubting yourself, someone else is admiring your strength. Right. And so this one really took off. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit show it here. So, for people, this resonates with people because we doubt ourselves all the time, but other people admire us all the time. It would be nice if we admired ourselves a little bit more.
Well, here, then I guess I will message back with it. This one is how easy to. This is from my good friend Kathy Armias, who wrote The Immutable Laws of Marketing. And she just wants to let you know this, right? This is, I love how awesome you are.
Nice.
So she actually has, these are awesome cards. You can actually contact her at kathyarmias.com and you can order some. She'll give you a small deck for free. And you hand these out, basically out to people who you think are awesome. Roger, I think you're awesome. And I can't wait to collaborate some more this year online and wherever we may show up.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year, John. And I look forward to our next talk show in a month.
Let's see. Wait, and now we got to play Roger out. Here we go.
Thank you for attending the performance. And a special thanks to all those who helped with the show.
Oh no, Roger's fallen and he can't get up. All right. Hey, this is John Chen. This has been the Engagement Show. We're here every month. Check it out. Make sure and look for us here at the Engagement Show. And we look forward to all of you having amazing engagement in 2024. Until next time, we'll see you later.